Hey, what's up, bros? Bro, sorry, couldn't resist. All right, to finish out Unit 6, we have one more lesson to go. And this time we're analyzing arguments with quantifiers. What the heck does that mean? What is a quantifier? Well, I'm about to show you. So I'm on page 23 here, arguments with quantifiers. What we mean by a quantifier, what the heck is going on right now? Let me try that again. Okay, a quantifier is a word, it's just a word or phrase that tells us how many cases of a particular situation exist. So like we say all of something or each or every or none or some or there exists or at least one, right? These are words or phrases that describe how many of some kind of situation that exists. So for instance, in my first argument here, you see all boxers wear trunks. Now to analyze arguments like this, we're going to use something called an Euler diagram, which looks very much like a Venn diagram. I mean, it really is a Venn diagram. It's just used for a different reason. So you can see here that I have a diagram that illustrates that every boxer wears trunks. This can be a little bit confusing because boxers can be like boxer shorts can be considered trunks, like swim trunks are kind of like boxer shorts. But what boxers here means people who punch people for a living. Okay. So anyone who is a boxer wears trunks is what this is saying. Every person who boxes wears trunks. So here I have all the people who are boxers in the world represented in this circle. They are inside the circle that represents all the people who wear trunks. Since the boxer circle is inside the trunks circle, that means if you are a boxer, you are also inside the trunk circle. In other words, all boxers wear trunks. Now, my next premise is Otis Taylor is a boxer. So if Otis is a boxer, then Otis lives inside the boxer circle. So that little star there represents Otis Taylor. Now the conclusion is that Otis Taylor wears trunks, and we have to decide if that is a valid conclusion based on these premises. Now I had to put Otis inside of the boxers circle. Is Otis inside of the trunks circle as well? Of course he is. That if you just ignore boxers, that star, which is Otis, is inside the trunk circle. So Otis Taylor wears trunks? Yes, he absolutely does. That is a valid argument. Okay, I've got 4 more to look at here, and I've already got the diagram set up. All residents of San Francisco love seafood. So I have a whole big circle here for everybody in the world who loves seafood. You'll see that every person who lives in San Francisco is inside of that circle. Now, I will admit that that is a false premise. I'm pretty willing to bet that it is not true that every resident of San Francisco loves seafood. But remember, that's not what we're worried about. We're not worried about whether the premise is true or false. We're worried about whether the argument is valid or not. So we're going to accept the premise. Everyone who lives in San Francisco loves seafood. Nancy Hart loves seafood. Now, here's the thing. Nancy Hart has to be inside the loves seafood circle, but I don't know if Nancy goes here or if Nancy goes here. There's no way for me to know that because I don't know if she lives in San Francisco or not. Our conclusion is Nancy Hart is a resident of San Francisco. Well, I would say, I don't know that. She might be, she might not be. All I know is that she loves seafood. So in this case, we would say that this is an invalid argument because we don't know where to put that star. Okay, all contractors use cell phones. So here I have everybody who uses cell phones and all contractors are inside that. Paul Burke does not use a cell phone. So Paul Burke is somewhere on the outside of the cell phone circle. Does that mean that Paul Burke is not a contractor? Yeah, Paul is definitely outside of the contractor circle. So I would say that is definitely a valid argument. Okay, this one isn't worded very well. I don't even know how to fix it really, but let's just go with the spirit of the argument here. Okay, this is not a well-worded problem. So all cars, see here it's talking about cars having wheels, and then it's talking about what the wheels are made of, and it's just not a logical connection, but whatever. the idea is cars have wheels. So all the cars are inside the wheel circle, and then all wheels are plastic. So the wheels are inside the plastic circle, which means all cars have plastic. You can see all the cars are inside the plastic circle. This is just an example of like 3 concentric circles here. It's not written well, but you get the idea that if it was written well, the idea is that if the car circle's inside the wheel circle and the wheel circle is inside the plastic circle, then the car circle's inside the plastic circle. I don't want to write down valid there because it's worded so poorly, but it is supposed to be valid. Okay, this one, some dogs are lazy. You'll notice that now my circles are just intersecting. Some dogs are lazy. I have a circle for everything in the world that is lazy, and I have a circle for every dog in the world. Now, some of those dogs are also in the lazy circle, and some of the dogs are not in the lazy circle because only some of them are lazy. Now, the next premise is that Ruffy is a dog. Now, I don't know whether to put Ruffy out here or in here. You know, I don't know which place to put him. So the conclusion that Ruffy is lazy, no, I don't know that. He might not be. Only some dogs are lazy. Ruffy's a dog. Maybe he's one of the dogs that are not lazy. So I would say this is an invalid argument. And then that is it. Look at that. Back to page 1. We have done it, folks. Finished chapter 6. It's been fun. Good luck.